Hello and welcome back to the Juniper Veil. I am going to read on Michael Cohen. What is that all about? Um, and just real quick, it's been a while since I've been on. I've had a lot of things to do with work and with home. So hopefully I won't be gone long. Next time I'll also be on Scott's channel, Sun Scorpio Tarot. I'll be on January 24th. 24th, right? 21st, 22nd. Yes, Saturday, January 24th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we'll be doing a live and pulling cards for people. So that'll be fun. So let's get into the reading. So if you don't know, Michael Cohen, Trump's former lawyer, I believe he worked on the Stormy Daniels case, and then he kind of turned against Trump, and he was on the Midas Touch. And then, from what I've heard, he's no longer on the Midas Touch. Rumors are that he was in the Epstein files. Not sure if that is true, for entertainment purposes only. But he also accused Letitia James of coercing him into I've forgotten the word, but basically speaking on some case. So there was something that happened, and the Midas Touch no longer wanted to work with him. So people have been talking. Nobody knows exactly what happened. To some extent, people have been saying, "Is he like a double agent? Is he trying to get back in the good graces with Trump?" Trying not to mess up my cards. Okay. Try not to put them reversed because I don't feel like reading reversals tonight. It is, what is today? Tuesday, January 20th. It is 9:31 p.m. my time, Eastern Standard Time. So I'm just going to pull a few cards I'm going to ask, what is in Michael Cohen's near future? By near future, I mean, let's say 2026. I'm going to pull a few cards and say, okay, so what is Michael Cohen up to in 2026? The cards are very stiff today. I haven't used them in a while. They're very stiff. Okay. I'm going to pull 5 cards. We have the 7 of Pentacles, the King of Cups, the Devil, 5 of Cups, and the 9 of Wands. All right. So that's interesting. Just to have that devil right in the middle, right? So let's see. I've been creating my own I've been studying the cards a bit between doing readings, just trying to, you know, have them come to me a bit easier, the different meanings. Of course, sometimes it's not the meaning of the card itself, sometimes it is the picture that you see on it as well. So pentacles are about money, usually, or, finances, business, career. The cups are about emotions, love, romance. They can also be the unconscious mind, kindness, and compassion. Pentacles are earth, cups are water. It's more cups, and there's wands. Wands are fire, masculine energy, about creativity, drive, energy, enthusiasm, willpower, talents and imagination, looking at abilities. And then we have the devil card in the middle. So the devil card can be, what's interesting with the devil card is it can mean different things to me depending upon the rest of the reading. Sometimes the devil card to me means knowledge or hidden knowledge sometimes coming out. So that is interesting. And then we have, let's see, we have a 7. So what I've been trying to do is I've been trying to look more into what the numbers mean, the numerology of the numbers as well. Number 7 talks about solitude, soul searching. The 7 of Pentacles shows a woman who is pouring water. She's watering this tree of Pentacles. So she's learning how to grow her own business, her own money. So she's kind of in that stage where she has some of that soul searching and wisdom. 7 is related to the idea of 7 heavens, 7 days of the week, 7 colors in the visible spectrum, 7 notes in the musical scale, 7 major chakras. So we're turning inward and we're discovering things about ourselves. So maybe Michael Cohen is looking in to himself. I don't know if this, I don't know how he feels about Trump right yet. I don't know what he, kind of wants with Trump. I don't know what he's playing at yet. So let's see the rest of the cards. And like I said, the King Cups are usually about romance or social relationships. We're looking at comfort, but we're also looking at intuition. So the King, right, is the top of the royalty cards. So the King of Cup here, he's holding his cup. He's not exactly looking straight forward. He's kind of looking to the side. He has on his robes. So kings are kind of like masters in a way, right? They're in charge. This king, since he has a cup, he's kind of in charge of the unconscious mind. He's also can help to point to a solution, the King of Cups, or the cups, I should say, in general. So I think for this one, we're looking at relationships, but not all relationships are like love relationships. So I'm thinking this is more like social relationships that Cohen has. He did some inner thinking. He wants to, maybe he's looking for money. Maybe he's looking to grow his name, his business back. I believe he had lost his license for his law license. So maybe he's trying to grow in some way. I think he may be looking to the King of Cups for help. Who this King of Cups is, I'm unsure. Let me look at something when it comes to the King of Cups, just in general. I mean, the King of Cups can be a mature person, usually a nice, a kind, benevolent person, a father figure. Could be an advisor. Usually, this King of Cups is very trustworthy and very dependent. So who this King of Cups is for him, I'm not sure of, because that is not someone who sounds like Trump, right? He doesn't really fit that bill. Because the King of Cups is usually a man of culture, interested in the arts, possibly creative himself. So there may be somebody he's working with that is helping him look into his intuition, and to build on his career. And then we have the devil. So the devil is interesting. Like I say, whenever I see the devil, I'm always like thinking to myself, either something that's hidden is coming out. Or it could also be, let's see. Devil is talking about reevaluating relationships to possibly material things, things that are keeping you chained down. So there's a limitation in personal growth. There may be harmful relationships. You may need to confront fears. So he may need to confront some type of financial security fears or social fears he may have. There's something that he does fear, and that's why he is reaching out to this King of Cups and mentally looking inward, because then we have the Five of Cups. And as the Five of Cups, you can see there is despair there. This person is not happy. He's sitting on the rock. He has Five of Cups, but there's either something going wrong within the relationship. So this could be the relationships, business partnerships, I think, because I think that's what he has on his mind. I think he's more looking into rebuilding some type of business relationships, right? So the cups relationships, pentacles, business. But something is causing an issue. He's maybe forming the wrong relationships. I think that's what he's doing. I think he's forming the wrong relationships. So he in 2026, he's going to be in a bit of despair when it comes to that, because fives are about freedom, but also about instability and about change. So sometimes five can be a bit too much to handle, because there can be excitement in changes, almost like a hurricane coming through, but it's also associated with stress and instability. So I think that this Five of Cups is showing that these connections or connections he's trying to make new are not, it's not a good idea. He's not creating good relationships for his business connections. I think that's not going to work out for him. And then we have wands, right? So we talked about wands are fire. They're talking about drive. They're talking about willpower, enthusiasm. So maybe with near the end of the year, because this is a nine. So a nine is talking about compassion, tolerance, attainment through wisdom or experience. So by the end of the year, he's might be reaching a level where he's actually doing better. And this could be because he had this failed relationship and he got burned, this business relationship. So maybe he comes a bit more to his senses. I'm not sure the exact path he's starting to take in 2026, but it doesn't look like he is choosing the right relationships because of this devil card and then the Five of Cups that comes afterward. But later on in the year, you see the Nine of Wands here. I like this card because it's a little boy. He has all these wands and he's made a ladder out of them. So he's on his way to achieve something, right? He built this ladder out of his creativity or his drive or his enthusiasm, and he's on his way. So I think he's going to recover at the end of the year. What he chooses to do or who he chooses to work with, I don't know exactly, but it does look like he will recover by the end of 2026. There's something, but he's not going to make very good choices along the way. But it seems like he has to do that in order to have some type of achievement by the end of the year. I could pull a, I have this oracle. It's like the paranormal oracle. I want to pull some cards from that, but I just have to pull up my little sheet that tells me what the cards mean because they're not as easy to just read naturally like tarot cards. Okay. So I got these cards from an Etsy store. I'll put the link in the description. She sends cards in these cool little tea towels. And these cards are like a paranormal oracle. Very cool. I got the original cards and then I got some extra cards. So I guess what I'm going to do with these oracle cards is I'm just going to give a bit more, give me a bit more detail into what's going on for 2026 for Michael Cohen to go along with these cards that I've already pulled. Um, I don't know why some of them are red and black. I didn't think of that. I don't know which ones those are, but let's see. Let me do two cards first. So I got a werewolf and I got paranormal. These are pretty. These were really neat cards. We got a little boy here, werewolf. You got the moon. The moon's out, so the little boy's turning into a werewolf. And you have paranormal. She kind of looks like she's going to get ready to do a seance or something. Very neat cards. And they have numbers associated. I'm not sure what the numbers are, actually. I should ask the creator. Let's see. Werewolf. So the werewolf card is talking about a transformation, which makes sense, right? We think about werewolves and transformation, and embracing the raw primal aspects of the self. So it calls you to reconnect with your instincts and honor your wild nature and let go of the masks society demands. Powerful changes are afoot. Trust your inner animal. So to me, it does look like he is going through some changes, right? He has this point where he's doing some inner thinking. And then he has this point where he has that despair. Something happens within these relationships that's causing him despair. And then for paranormal, paranormal represents mystery and experiences beyond the known or understood. So when this card appears, it invites you to explore what lies beyond the veil of ordinary reality. It may also suggest that something unseen is influencing your current path, urging you to open your mind to otherworldly forces. Again, this is about inner thinking, right? So when it comes to the Five of Cups, between the Five of Cups and the Nine of Wands, he probably does a lot of more like inner thinking, causing another transformation for him to get to that Nine of Wands stage. That makes sense to me. I'm not sure what the numbers mean, but 0900 and 0313. I'll have to look those up and see if they mean anything specific. If you know, please let me know in the comments. So that's pretty interesting. Let's see. So that's Michael Cohen. I'm curious to see what happens this coming year for him because it's curious, right? He was on the side of Trump, then he was like against Trump, and now it kind of looks like he wants to be back on the side of Trump, possibly. I don't know. I don't know what he's up to, but he's going to be going through. He's going to be making some new business relationships, partnerships, and they're not going to be good. Not going to be good. He's going to be. It's not going to turn out how he wants. But I think by the end of the year, he's going to get back on track. He's going to just have to do a lot of inner thinking, deciding what it is that he really wants within his business partnerships, which way he wants to go. He probably really has to look inwardly and see and follow I mean, if he follows what is moral, he'll probably do well. Like that's what it how it feels to me. If he follows what is moral, he'll do well. Like the devil is saying, you need to give up on those materialistic desires that you have. And that's what it's telling him. That's what his year is about. He has to give that up, right? And if he does, it's going to be a bit depressing for a little while, but he's going to rally. So, what that means for the rest of us, I don't know. It could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing. I mean, I can't really say, but I think that's what is in store for Michael Cohen at the moment. What else? I want to ask. I want to ask about. I kind of want to know what's in store for Marco Rubio in 2026 as well. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do it with Marco Rubio. There's a lot of. If you watch like Hogarth, definitely watch Hogarth if you haven't seen him. I mean, he has a very interesting theory about how Rubio and Trump are like Augustus and Julius Caesar. Trump will try to take over the world and create a new empire, but it's Rubio who actually does. So that's one theory to go with. I personally see Rubio more than I see Vance. So that is interesting, right? Okay, Marco Rubio, what does he have in store for 2026? Marco Rubio, what does he have in store for 2026? The Magician, Six of Wands, the Moon, Strength, and the Two of Cups. So we have some Wands energy. Again, that is talking about fire, energy, willpower, creativity, drive. And we have the cups. He has more major arcana. So there's going to be some very significant things that he's going to have happen to him or do. And then we have the cups talking about the social relationships, intuition, emotions, culture, water. But we have these three major arcana. So the magician, right? The magician has, he has a cup, he has a sword, he has a pentagram or a pentacle, he has a wand, he has a little bit of everything, the magician. So in the magician, you see somebody kind of doing behind the scenes work, possibly thinking about somebody being the operator of the puppet, right? So that's very interesting. He's going to be doing a lot of. He has some tricks up his sleeve, and then we have the Six of Wands. So you can see in the Six of Wands, this person has these wands set up. He's on a horse. He looks like he's kind of waiting for. I don't want to say battle, but I feel like he is getting ready. This person seems very prepared for what is to come. Six is talking about service and social responsibility, caring, compassion, and community involvement. Usually fives are kind of stormy, like we saw. Sixes are quiet after that. There's a little bit of peace, there's a little bit of quiet. So a person should be practicing self-care, rest. They should be balancing themselves. So I think what this means is that he's doing some things in the background, but he's alert. He's keeping alert to what is going on. He has this willpower and this energy, but he's kind of keeping it bottled up. He's not doing anything yet, but he has some things, some plans that he's making, right? Because then we have the moon after that. Moon to me means secrets, could also mean secrets revealed. So this is interesting because I kind of want to say, does he expose some secrets? He must know a lot of secrets. I'm sure he does. Like I have a feeling that he knows a lot of secrets, right? He's within that administration. I'm sure they all have secrets on each other. They don't strike me as people that trust each other. So everybody in the cabinet probably has secrets about each other. Um, I mean, this is also talking about increased imagination and creativity. And so maybe he should pay more attention to his inner self. Usually the moon, it's a crescent moon, but the moonlight can help you to see things that you can't see from sunlight because the sunlight is too bright. But for me, I always get this idea of deceit, right? Because the moon can also be deceitful. It can also be self deception and confinement. So I think this says a lot of things. He knows a lot of secrets, but I also think he has to be careful that he doesn't have self deception because he's planning something. But I feel like it has more to do with him knowing secrets because after that there's strength, right? This woman is petting a lion. She's showing a lot of strength. She has the infinity symbol on her forehead. I think these secrets give him strength. He feels very prepared. He knows a lot. He knows what's going in the background, which is very interesting because it makes the whole he's Augustus to Trump's Julius make a lot of sense. So that fits kind of well. I think that he is the actual strength. I don't know if he's the only strength in the administration, but he's probably the smartest person there, to be honest with you. He knows to not ruffle feathers. You see him most of the time, he looks like he's in shock, but he could just be hiding his emotions as best as possible. Because then we have the Two of Cups. The twos are about duality, they're about yin and yang, right? They're about balance. And like we said, cups are relationships, culture, comfort, intuition. So I think by the end of the year, he's going to be forming this balance. I kind of want to say, like, say, for example, something happens to Trump. JD Vance takes over. What if something happens to Vance? Or maybe he knows that he should form a strong relationship with Vance. And maybe Rubio brings some yin to the yang of the administration. That could be a possibility. Or maybe him and another person like Vance, they're just working in cahoots. So it's kind of like there's two presidents in a way. That's if, Trump is no longer president by the end of 2026, which to me looks like it could definitely be a possibility. Because the Two of Cups is also a lot about union, partnership, harmony, mutual admiration. So I think he's going to make a connection with someone, possibly Vance. They're going to realize that he has a lot of strength, right? Because he's very smart. He has a lot of tools. He knows to wait and plan. And he probably also has a lot of secrets. So I think he is going to have a lot of strength in the Trump administration. And those in charge are going to know that they have to take him on board. He has to be part of the team. Maybe Vance comes into power and he gets rid of pretty much everyone in the cabinet except for Rubio, which would kind of make sense because Rubio seems to be the only one who doesn't get himself in trouble. Everyone else seems to get themselves in trouble. Rubio, not so much. Rubio knows how to go under the radar. He knows how, when Trump said, oh, Rubio would make a great president, and he stood behind Trump and he kind of, was like, oh, Mr. President, he knows. Do I trust him? No, but he knows what he's doing. So let's do 2 of the paranormal oracle cards for Rubio, see what happens. Again, I don't know why some of them have different colors. Oops, I'm trying not to remember those. But I'm going to have this one out because it fell out, the talking board. And then I'm going to pick another one. A vampire. Ooh. So here we have the talking board, which is talking about Ouija boards, right? They even have a magic 8-ball there. Number 0462, U.S. Weather Bureau Weather Briefing Service, which is interesting because this has a government sign in the background. And then we had the vampire, 0901, the vampire. Very classic vampire. So the talking boards, right? That kind of looks like another tool that a magician could have. We're talking about communication with spirits through a physical medium, often used to seek answers or guidance from beyond. This card reminds you that there are channels to connect with the unseen, but to use them with caution and respect. It signifies a time for seeking clarity or messages from other realms. So for Rubio, I think this means communication. I think this means, as a musician, magician, he has a tool so that people know that he has secrets and that he's prepared. I think this is another way of him finding out those secrets. I think he's collecting knowledge with this talking board. And then we have the vampire. So vampires, right? This represents seduction and the darker allure of the night. It speaks drawing energy consciously or unconsciously from others. It warns of overindulgence and asks you to reflect on where you may be draining others or being drained yourself. I think for him, this falls under strength and the 2 of Cups. I think this is showing that he's creating a partnership, but he's probably using that person. I think of energy vampires. What other partnerships he creates, it's going to be for his own good. It's not going to be for other people. It's going to be for his good. I wouldn't trust him as far as I could throw. Because like most people in the administration, he's out for himself. And if you watched Hogarth, he feels like there is a very good indication that Rubio is very interested in kind of becoming emperor of the Americas, right? North America, South America. So he's in it for himself. He's going to take all the blood and all the money that he can. So that is my reading on Michael Cohen and Marco Rubio. Thank you for staying and listening. Please like and subscribe. If you have any comments, please leave them below. Thank you so much. Goodbye.